and approval. It's difficult. That's the most difficult thing, actually. At the beginning, with many devotees, those who are non-vegetarian, to give up non-vegetarian food was very difficult, especially if you're coming from Bengal. And I get to hear, like, if somebody is sincerely trying to follow the principles, others are pushing them. Like somebody became a vegetarian. Come on, why? Just once in a while you can take some ilish machir jhol. So there is pressure from the relatives, and many of the devotees could become devotee coming to the West, isn't it? Staying at home would have been impossible. But it's it's a stroke of good luck that they came to America. Many of you have come to America, and as a result of that, you could become a devotee of Krishna. So, when we take to the process, should we follow the process sincerely or half-heartedly? Should we follow the process wholeheartedly or half-heartedly? Wholeheartedly. And of course, many of you I have seen, you follow, even at home, you follow very strictly. But for many others, it's not possible. Too many impediments, too many difficulties. Like getting up in the morning is difficult. Then even if you get up in the morning, then you have to rush to go to work. So no time to chant properly. I have seen many devotees took initiation, took a vow of chanting 16 rounds, but they don't do that. After getting initiation, they get drifted away. They get drifted away. They forget. And that's why these seminars are actually important. It's a reminder. You come to the seminar, come to this retreat, stay away from home, in a spiritual environment, it actually helps you. Therefore, please take advantage of this situation. Come to the Mangalarati. And sometimes it also happens, one comes to Mangalarati, and then after Arati just goes out. No, stay in the temple room, chant. And I tell you, in that respect, Bhakti Prem Maharaj is a wonderful example. He's always, when he was in Ujjain, he was the president of Ujjain temple, and he used to make all the devotees sit there and chant. When I was to spend a lot of time in the early days in Mayapur, sometimes I would see that the devotees in the morning, during the chanting, when they should have been chanting, they're gossiping right in front of everybody. Have the Japamala in hand, but instead of chanting, yes, they're chanting something, but not Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So then I started a system that everybody has to come to my room, my area, and we used to sing some bhajan first, some of the prayers, ashtakams, and then chant. At least that way, in the morning, if you can cover about 10-12 rounds, the rest of the day, covering 4 rounds is not difficult. But if you don't do that, it's impossible that you'll be able to complete your rounds. That means you have to chant till midnight. And I haven't seen anyone chanting till midnight. That means they're skipping their rounds. They're not chanting their rounds. Now when you come here, try to try to revive your spiritual impetus, spiritual sincerity. All right? So, while I'm also asking you whether you're properly situated, whether prasadama is good, at the same time, I'm also going to ask you, are you attending the Mangalartik? Are you chanting sitting in the temple room? I'm not going to ask you who is doing and who is not doing, but it's a request, please do that. Please do that. Take advantage of this few days that you are here. And in ISKCON we usually use an expression, recharging the battery. The battery gets exhausted, so it needs a recharging. You have a mobile phone, does it need recharging? If it's not recharged, it won't function. So similarly, we have to recharge our spiritual battery, the spiritual impetus, sincerity to practice the process properly. All right? So, I'm so happy that you all are responding so nicely. Your silence means approval. So I know all of you are taking these words to heart. Like it's very important that we practice our spiritual life properly. And it's only recharging, rejuvenating. It is also a question of revival of our spiritual wisdom, acquiring our spiritual wisdom. That's why we are discussing these topics. All these topics that we select during the seminars, during the retreats, is simply to give us the right spiritual knowledge. So, did you get the basic understanding? The basic understanding, the first consideration is, who is Krishna? Ishvaraha Parama Krishna. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And Krishna's abode is Golok. Spiritual abode of Krishna is Golok. An interesting thing to consider here. Golok. What does it mean? Go means cow. Lok means planet. The planet of cows. Yes, the spiritual world is the planet of cows. And what do the people there do? In the spiritual world, what do they do? They're gopas and gopis. That's the only occupation. In Golok, everyone is a gopa, gop or gopi. Male are known as cowherd men and cowherd girls. And there the Supreme Personality of Godhead resides. What's his name? Gopal. See, this is a very important thing to consider. The spiritual world is a planet of cows, is a world of cows. The topmost occupation is to take care of the cows, gopas and gopis. Their life revolves around cows. And the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the maintainer of the cows, Gopal. And he is Govinda. He gives pleasure to the cows. So this is the real understanding of the spiritual world. Of course, there is another region of the spiritual world, that is Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha is a region where they're the Krishna or the Narayan is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. There also he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but in a different way. There he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead in opulence. But in Vrindavan, Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead in love. What prevails in Vrindavan is love. What prevails in Vaikuntha is opulence. Now the consideration is, what is more important, opulence or love? If you have love, then you don't care for opulence. Like that's what happened. Like during the Ratha Yatra, you know the Ratha Yatra festival is a festival of kidnapping Krishna. Krishna was kidnapped by the by the cowherd people of Vrindavan. Now, kidnapping is a crime, is a big crime. And can you imagine what kind of crime it was to kidnap the prince? The prince has been kidnapped. In Dwarka, everyone is totally enraged. What? How dare they do that? Come, let's punish them. So all the soldiers came. Along with the soldiers, they surrounded Vrindavan, arrested the cowherd folks. And who is judging them? The principal queen, Rukmini Devi. How dare you do such a thing? And what is their lawyer's argument on that? We did not kidnap. He himself wanted to come. We simply assisted him. He wanted to come, we assisted him. So she accepted that argument, that reasoning. Oh yeah. And she admitted, yeah, it's true. Like Krishna's heart, although Krishna is in Dwarka, he is not in Dwarka. During the daytime, he is absent-minded, as if he left his mind somewhere else. His mind is somewhere else. And at night, when he's asleep, he calls out, as if in dream he goes over there. All kinds of names. Oh mother, oh father, oh Nanda Baba, oh Jashoda Mai, oh Subal, oh Arjun, Sudama, oh Radhe, oh Lalite, oh Vishakhe, oh Shamali, oh Dhavali. So he's calling as if he is gone somewhere else. So she admitted that no, now we know where Krishna's heart is. Krishna's heart is always in Vrindavan. But then she raised a question. Dwarka has all the opulence. There is no dearth, no scarcity of anything. Why Krishna's heart is not settled in Dwarka? What is there in Vrindavan that is attracting Krishna so much? See, she had a question. And what was the answer to the question? The answer to the question was, see, in Vrindavan, although it looks like a forest, all these trees here are desire tree. These desire trees can fulfill any desire of anyone. Here, the cows, it's a golok full of cows. All these cows are Surabhi cows. They can produce anything that one wants. And these land here is made of Chintamani. Touchstone, Chintamani. So, there is no dearth of anything. Anything is available here. If they want whatever they want, they can get it. But all they want is Krishna because of their love for Krishna. Because of their love for Krishna, they don't want anything else. All they want is Krishna. And that's how she understood the special attraction of Vrindavan for Krishna. Is the love of the devotees is attracting Krishna there. So this is how Vrindavan is the topmost region of the spiritual world, spiritual sky. And that is now being described. Now Brahma has been transported to the spiritual world, spiritual sky, Golok Vrindavan. You see, the mantras take you to what the mantra is indicating. What Brahma got here? He got Gopal mantra. Gopal mantra. Now see the Gopal mantra. What is the mantra? Klim, Krishnaya, Govindaya, Gopijana Vallabhaya, Swaha. Krishna there is Govinda. And he is the Gopijana Vallabhaya. He is the Lord of the Gopis. He is Gopinath. Gopijana Vallabhaya. Krishnaya, Govindaya, Gopijana Vallabhaya, Swaha. Gopijana Vallabha. So that is Vrindavan. Therefore, chanting this mantra, Brahma now is transported to Golok Vrindavan. So this morning we discussed that. Is it clear? Okay. Now Brahma has gone there. Like when you come here, what happens? What do you see? You come and see the place right now, isn't it? Oh, there's a lake, there's land, and there are devotees, there's a temple, Prabhupada, deities. So when you come to some place, you see the situation or what's there in that place. So, what is Brahma seeing? Chintamani prakara sadmasu kalpa vriksha. The land is made of Chintamani. Prakara sadmasu. There are buildings. Those buildings are made of Chintamani. Kalpa vriksha, it's a forest. But the trees of that forest are kalpa vrikshas, desire trees. Prakara sadmasu kalpa vriksha. Laksha vritesu. Surabhir abhipalayantam. There are millions of cows. Laksha vritesu surabhir. And abhipalayantam. Krishna is tending those cows. And there are so many gopis. Who are those gopis? Lakshmi Sahasrasata Sambhramase Bhumanam. The Lakshmis are hundreds of thousands of Lakshmis. Sahasrasata Lakshmis. The gopis are actually Lakshmis. We know of one Lakshmi, but they are Sahasrasata Lakshmis. Sambhramase Bhumanam. With great awe and reverence, they are serving Krishna. Sambhramase Bhumanam. Then, so this is how Brahma is seeing the spiritual world. And then he is seeing the personality there. What's he doing? Venum kanantam aravinda dalayataksham. Venu means a flute. Kwanantam, he is playing the flute. And his eyes are aravinda dalayataksham. Aravinda means lotus, dal means petal. The lotus petal is wide and broad. So Krishna's eyes are like that. Aravinda dalayataksham. Barhavatam, he has a peacock feather on his head. Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam. His complexion is like monsoon cloud. darkish like monsoon cloud. Like, it's not like, I mean, we also have to understand that these examples are not quite quite as they apparently appear to us. They're just giving us an idea. Aravinda Dalayaksham. What impression we get from that? We are not seeing, when we get the description, Aravinda Dalayaksham, we don't see a petal of the lotus. What do we tend to see? Krishna's eyes. Krishna's complexion is not like monsoon cloud. Like Krishna's complexion is transcendental. It's beyond anyone's imagination. We can't really imagine. Like sometimes Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur pointed out that Krishna's complexion is like Aparajita flower. How many of you have seen Aparajita flower? Very good. It's dark blue. Fortunately, Maharaj just pointed out that we have an Aparajita plant here. Is it blooming? The flowers are there? Very good. So those who want to see what Krishna's complexion is like, you can go and see that flower. It's dark blue, it's beautiful blue color. But it's just an impression he's giving. Once Prabhupada gave the example, Prabhupada told that Krishna is not, I mean, although Krishna's complexion has been considered to be Shyam Sundar, blackish, but it's transcendental. You can't imagine whether it's black or white or green or blue. It's another color altogether. It's not a color of this world. It's a color of another world. So, that is how Brahma is seeing Krishna. Barhavatam samasitam buddha sundarangam kandarpa koti kamaniya vishesha shobham. Millions and millions of cupids have been totally enchanted by Krishna's beauty. One cupid enchants the whole universe. In this universe, there is one cupid, and he is responsible for creating amorous feelings, meaning creating that attraction for beautiful, creating attraction for beauty. So he is the cause, he creates the attraction for beauty. And like he is considered to be most beautiful, Cupid. Cupid is an English expression, it's not really Cupid that way. Kandarpa is totally different. Cupid in the West is like a little child, little baby with wings. So that is not Kandarpa. Kandarpa actually doesn't have any form. He used to have a form. But Lord Shiva became upset with him and burnt him to ashes. Therefore, he is now known as Ananga. Ananga, one who doesn't have any Anga body. And he is working through everyone's heart. It's creating all kinds of attraction. And the attraction for opposite sex is the doing of Kandarpa. And Krishna is enchanting Kandarpa Koti, tens of millions of Kandarpas. So this is Krishna, how Brahma is seeing him. Kandarpa Koti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham. Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. That Govinda, Krishna, who is the original personality, Adi Purusham, I worship him. Alolo Chandraka Lasad Banamalla Vamsi. A moon-shaped locket is hanging, is swaying on his chest. Alolo Chandraka Lasad Banamalya, and a forest flower garland. And Bamsi, he has flute in his hand. Ratnangadang pranaya keli kala vilasham. His body is decorated with most brilliant ornaments. Ratnangadang. And he is enjoying the loving exchange. Pranaya keli kala vilasham. He is enjoying the amorous pastimes with the gopis. So that's how Brahma is seeing him. And then description of Krishna. Angani jasya sakalendriya vrittimanti. Krishna's body, Angani, all the limbs of his body can perform the activities of any other limb of the body. Sakalendriya, all the senses. Every part of his body is capable of performing the activities of all other senses. That is Krishna's body. Angani jasya sakalendriya vrittimanti. Pashyanti, he is seeing. Like, what are the activities of the senses? Seeing. Panti, maintaining. Kalayanti, chirang jaganti. Ananda chinmaya sadujjala vigrahasya. His beautiful form, Ujjala, his brilliantly beautiful form, is the form of transcendental ecstasy, transcendental joy. Ananda chinmaya sadujjala vigrahasya. And Advaitam Achyutam Anadim Ananta Rupam Adyang Purana Purusham Navajovanancha. Krishna is, he is one without a second. Krishna is one, supreme. So this word supreme in Sanskrit has been very clearly explained. What is the meaning of the word supreme? Supreme has been described as asamordha, asama, meaning equal. Asama, no one is equal to him. Urdha, no one is superior to him. That is the meaning of the word supreme. He is one without a second. Advaitam. No one is equal to him, no one is superior to him. Otherwise, everybody has someone either equal or superior, no matter how great one is. Not only in the material nature, even in the spiritual world. Like Krishna is the supreme. No one is equal to him. No one is superior to him. Advaitam, Achyutam, he is infallible. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he will always remain the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He will not deviate from that position ever. He had always been the Supreme, and he will always remain the Supreme. Achyutam, Anadim. He is beginningless. Like we previously heard that, Anadir Adir Govinda. Anadir Adi, he is the cause of, he is the beyond that is beginningless. There is beginningless, and he is beyond beginningless. Anadir Adi. So that is what Krishna's identity. If anything has a beginning, but or anything that doesn't have a beginning, he is beyond that, beginningless. So impossible to understand. The consideration is we'll understand these expressions only when we go there. Because here we don't have any possibility to conceive of those ideas. Is there anything that doesn't have any beginning in this world? But in the spiritual world, everything is without a beginning. We spirit souls, we are beginningless. We had always been there and we'll always be there. There was no time when the soul had a beginning. None of us had any beginning. We are beginningless. Spiritual world is beginningless, without any beginning. And Krishna is beyond that. He is the beginning. He is the beginningless of the beginningless. Anadir Adi. He is the source of that is beginningless. Anadir Adir Govinda. Sarva Karana Karanam. And here, Advaitam Achyutam Anadir Anading Ananta Rupam. Is Anadi, at the same time his forms are endless. Ananta Rupam. One, these are the totally inconceivable concepts. He is one, but he is endless. Does Krishna's expansions have any limit? Krishna is situated in everyone's heart. Is that Krishna or not? It's Krishna. Krishna is one, but at the same time he is in everyone's heart. Not only that, Paramanu Chayantarastham, he is also in every single atom. So this is how the spiritual domain is totally beyond our understanding. Inconceivable. Inconceivable. Therefore, we have to accept the instructions or descriptions of the scriptures with faith. With our limited understanding, we'll never be able to understand. Like for example, one frog, after seeing the ocean, came to the well and talking to the frog of the well. You know, I went to the ocean. What is ocean? It's a big reservoir of water. Oh, it's a big reservoir of water. How big is it? 10 times the size of this well? No, it's much bigger. 100 times? No, much bigger than 1,000 times. Now, according to the conception of the well, can anybody ever understand what the ocean is like? Similarly, with our materialistic concept, we'll never be able to understand the spiritual domain. It's of another dimension altogether. Therefore, when this frog tells the other frog that ocean is a vast reservoir of water, that you can't find any end of that. We have to understand. The other frog, if he's intelligent, will say, oh, I see. Come, let's go and see the ocean. Will you please take me to the ocean? That should be the intelligent approach. With this conception, with the conception of the whale, I'll never be able to understand the ocean. But if I want to understand the ocean, then let's go and see the ocean myself. So if we want to understand the spiritual reality, let's go to the spiritual world. And until then, let's accept whatever has been presented. This is another thing that we should actually consider. I'll just give you an example first. When I was young, and I used to read books, outside books, the novels and etc., drama, storybooks. And my aunt, my father's elder sister, she used to get very upset. Why are you reading all this? The dramas and novels. And I couldn't understand why she used to be so upset with that. I could understand why she did that after I joined ISKCON. I realized that in the Vedic society, there was no room for speculative ideas or wrong presentation. Whatever is written in the book is the truth and nothing but the truth. Everything that has been written is the truth and nothing but the truth. Yes, they also wrote drama. Kalidas wrote dramas. But those dramas are based on reality. Abhigyan Shakuntalam. In Mahabharata we find Shakuntala's episode. He simply elaborated that. Bikram Urvashiya. King Vikramaditya had his encounter with Urvashi. Right? Meghdut. So these are all that the themes have been taken from the scriptures, and he wrote the dramas for people to understand. Similarly, we find Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's followers, like Kavi Karnapur, wrote dramas. Rupa Goswami wrote dramas. Lalita Madhav, Vidagdha Madhav. But they are all the descriptions of actual happenings. Not the stories of Superman, Spider-Man, Batman, Ant-Man, or even Romeo and Juliet. No, these are all fictitious stories. Had nothing to do with the scriptures or the reality. So that's why people's faith was so strong. Whatever is presented in the Vedas is the truth. They accepted it because there was no room for falsity. But due to the British influence, that culture entered in India. Indians started to write books, following their British masters. Therefore, those things were not accepted or rather in the Vedic society, those fictitious stories didn't have any room. And that's why people's faith was strong. So at least we have to have faith in the scriptures ourselves because we have accepted it. I mean, our understanding is simple. I mean, we have seen Prabhupada, right? Or we know about Srila Prabhupada. Such a brilliant person. Now, will Srila Prabhupada write give us some wrong informations? So when Prabhupada is presenting them, we have to understand that Prabhupada is presenting them for our benefit. Now let's go back. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, another brilliant person. Then you can go back, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, such brilliant personalities who have sacrificed everything for their spiritual progress, for establishing spiritual culture in this world. Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, such exalted personalities, so wealthy. Rupa Goswami, when he retired, he was the minister, the finance minister of the King of Bengal. Muslim king also, Hussain Shah. Muslim king had him as the finance minister. So we can understand so brilliant he must have been that even a Muslim king appointed him as his finance minister. And when he retired, meaning premature retirement, he was transporting his wealth. Not furnitures and sofas and things. What he was transporting is solid gold coins. And how he was transporting them? In a boat, not one boat, 3 boats. So that is how wealthy he was. But he gave up. Similarly, his brother, Sanatan Goswami, he was the chief minister of the king. He also retired. He wanted to retire. The king didn't want to allow. No. I can't let you retire. If you retire, then what will happen to this kingdom? You are the one who is maintaining everything. Your younger brother, that is Hussain Shah himself, he was telling, your younger brother is a bandit. He just goes and plunders places and people and loots them. So he is such a useless character. You are the one who is actually maintaining everything in the kingdom with your intelligence and expertise. So Sanatana Goswami said, no, I can't. Okay, come with me. I'm going to fight with the king of Orissa. No, I don't want to go there with you. You're simply going to trouble the Lord. I don't want to go with you. So this is how Sanatana Goswami was being persuaded by the king. He would not let him retire. Then we can see Raghunath Das Goswami. His father's income those days was 20 lakhs gold coin. 20 lakhs gold coin means 200,000 gold coins annual income. Takta Turnam Ashesha Mandala Patisranim. Very neglectfully they just gave up their opulent situation. Turnam, neglectfully gave up. Ashesha Mandala Patisranim, the association and the situation where they were situated in like a king and monarch. And what did they do? Kopina Kanthashrito. They have gave up everything, and they were what were they wearing? Just a kopin, and to cover themselves in winter, a kantha, a very simple blanket. So when these exalted individuals make such sacrifice, and when they present something, why should anyone ever doubt their presentation? Therefore, the important thing is accept everything that is presented with absolute faith and without a tinge of doubt. These are the truth and nothing but the truth. Brahma's description is the absolute truth. So Advaitam Achyutam, Anadim Ananta Rupam, and Adang Purana Purusham. He is the original personality. And Navajovanancha. He is the original primeval personality, Purana Purusham, the first personality. Everybody accepts that God was there when there was nothing else. Like Aham Evasham Evagre Nannajat Sad Asat Param. I was there when nothing was there, Krishna is saying. So that means who is the first person? Krishna. But what is form like? Navajovanancha. Navajovanancha, budding youth. Just from adolescence going into youth. 15 years going to 16. I am 15 going on 16. Right? That is Krishna. That's the most beautiful phase of life, isn't it? The boys are so handsome at that age, and the girls are so pretty at that age. That's the most beautiful age. 15 going on 16. Navajovanancha. So that is Krishna's form. Krishna, when he performs his pastimes, Bhauma Lila, he takes birth. And he gradually grows. He grows, and when he reaches just 15 going to 16, he remains in that form. That form doesn't change. In the spiritual world, Krishna's form is eternally that. Now here we see like the misconceptions, how misconceptions develop due to lack of proper information and understanding. Like, recently I was in Vatican. Beautiful paintings. And Michelangelo, Leonardo da Vinci, Raphael. And how did they depict God? An old man with flowing white beard and long white hair. So their understanding is, since he is the original personality, he must be old. Of course, Jesus never said that. God's form is like that. That's what they imagined. Due to lack of understanding, they think since he is oldest, therefore he must be old. No. Why God should be old? Does anybody want to be old? Huh? Nobody wants to be old. Everybody wants to retain his youthful form, isn't it? Huh? So similarly, why God should become old? Navajovanancha. But at the same time, Vedeshu durlabham adurlabham atma bhakto. Through the Vedas one may not be able to understand him, but he is understandable by his devotees. Adurlabham atma bhakto. So that is Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So now, Panthastu Koti Shatavatsara Sampragammo. Bayorathapi Manaso Munipungavanam. Soppasti Jat Prapada Brichinna Bichinta Tatte Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Panthastu Koti Shatavatsara Sampragammo. Bayorathapi Manaso Munipungavanam. Munipungavanam. Pungav means the best. Like for example, Narapungam means best of man. So Munipungav means the best of the Munis, the sages. Munipungavanam. The best of the Munis, the Munipungavas, who can travel with the speed of the mind. They can travel with the speed of wind. Here, Bayorathapi, Manaso, but Manaso. They can even travel with the speed of the mind. That's how powerful they are. Although they are able to travel with the speed of the mind, have you ever considered the speed of mind? You are in America now. In no time you are in India. Can your mind travel to India right away? So this is how the mind is able to travel. And traveling with the speed of the mind for hundreds of years, they cannot come to the tip of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So I'll read that translation. This translation is actually quite difficult because it was written by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's disciple. There's a misconception that Brahma Samhita was written by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Actually, that's not true. One of Prabhupada's godbrother who was very learned, was in the leading disciple of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Sridhar Maharaj told me, no, Brahma Samhita was not written by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's, anyway, so this is also quite a difficult language. Anyway, I'll read it, see where they go. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord. Only the tip of the toe of whose lotus feet is approached by the yogis who aspire after the transcendental and betake themselves to the pranayama by drilling the respiration, or by gyanis who try to find out the non-differentiated Brahman by the process of elimination of the mundane, extending over thousands of millions of years. Understood? Okay. So let's go word for word. Munipungavanam. Now there are munis, there are two kinds. One is Brahmavadis and other is, those are known as Gyanis and the Yogis. So, say these personalities have the ability to travel, as it mentioned, And they're the best of the yogis, best of the munis. They can travel with the speed of the mind. But traveling with the speed for millions and millions of years, here it's been saying thousands of millions of years, they can barely come to the tip of his lotus feet. And someplace it has been mentioned that hills of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Try to find out, okay, approached by the yogis who aspire after the transcendental, whose lotus feet is the tip of the toe of the lotus feet. So they can't go to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Gyanis, as I was pointing out this morning also, these other processes, any other processes besides devotional service cannot approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bhakta mam abhijanati. Only through devotion can one recognize me, understand me, and come to me. So here is also the same point has been made. Panthastu koti shatavatsara sampragomyo bayor athapi manaso munipungavanam sopasti jat prapada asimna vichinta tatte. So the Propada means of the toe. So where they can barely reach the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality. Not even the lotus feet, the toenail of his lotus feet, the tip of the toe of his lotus feet. That's how rare he is. Now does anybody want to contest? Maharaj, why are you saying that? These big yogis, you are saying that they are useless? They can't approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead and only you can approach? Well, Baba, I'm quoting the scripture. What I'm saying is not my words. These are the words of the scriptures. These are the words of Brahma. Who can ever contest that? And Krishna himself is saying that in Bhagavad Gita, isn't it? That Mama Maya Durattaya. It's impossible to surmount the influence of Maya. But Mame Vaje Prapadante, Maya Metang Tarantite. One who surrenders unto me, he can very easily overcome this influence of Maya. So that is the secret of devotional service. You surrender, the Lord will deliver you. You don't surrender, keep on trying. Good luck. So that's a simple understanding. You surrender, the Lord will become easily achievable. You don't surrender, there's no way you can approach Him. Another shlok in that respect. Je anna aravindaksha vimukta maninas tajjasta bhavad abhishuddha buddhayo arujya kricchena parang padang tata patanti adha anadrita jushmadang rayo. Srimad Bhagavatam. Je anna aravindaksha vimukta maninas. Vimukta maninas, desiring to become liberated. Mukta. Vimukta maninas. But disregarding the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Disregarding the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, if one tries to achieve the spiritual destination, vimukta, if they want to become liberated, vimukta maninas, tajjasta bhavad abhishuddha buddhayo. Due to their impure mentality, abhishuddha buddhayo. Due to their impure mentality, if they don't accept the supremacy or the authority of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, in order to achieve in liberation, arujya krichena, they perform all kinds of austerities. They perform all kinds of austerities. Arujya krichena. They come almost, parang padam tata, they come almost to the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But from there, patanti adha, they fall down. Why? Parang padam tata, why? Because they have disregarded the lotus feet of the Lord. Anadrita jushmadanghrayo. Because they have not accepted the shelter of your lotus feet. On the other hand, just surrender. Again, Krishna's assurance. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam braja. Just surrender unto me. Then what is Krishna's assurance? Aham tvang sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami masucha. I'll deliver you from all your sinful reactions. Now, is Krishna lying to us? Why should Krishna lie to us? Meaning, is Krishna saying something that doesn't really happen? Or is Krishna saying this because this is his words? You surrender, I will deliver you. So deliverance, if we want to really be liberated, the simple way is surrender unto Krishna. Bas. Don't have to worry about anything. And when you surrender unto Krishna, then what happens? When the Bhakti Lata devotional service has been compared to a creeper, a plant. The seed becomes, from the seed comes a seedling. What happens when the seedling appears? There are two leaves, right? First, there are two leaves. Those two leaves are Kleshagni, Shubhada. One leaf indicating no more suffering. Kleshagni, no more suffering. And Shubhada, all auspiciousness. So once one takes to once one surrenders unto Krishna, accept the process of devotional service, then what immediately happens is there is no more suffering. And all auspiciousness appears to him in his life. Sometimes the question arises in that respect. Oh Maharaj, but we saw that some devotees are having difficulties. They had cancer, they had this disease, that disease. Yeah, it happens. But the devotees don't get affected by that. If your consciousness is not in the body, will you feel any pain? When one is under anesthetics, what happens? The nervous system is blocked. Right, doctor? So the nervous system is blocked. And when the nervous system doesn't flow, or when the nervous system is blocked, then the consciousness doesn't flow. Then there is no recognition or registration. Somebody's heart is cut open, priced open. The heart is taken out, the chest is cut open, heart is taken out. Does he feel any pain? No. Why? Because there is no consciousness in the body. Now this is done artificially through anesthetics. But with Krishna consciousness, practically that happens. The consciousness is no more in the body, it is in Krishna. Krishna consciousness. So because they are not in the body consciousness, they don't have any they don't register the painful situation in the body. They are not affected. We have seen so many devotees. In London, one of our god sisters had cancer. She didn't want to take any treatment. And she accepted. And devotees who were attending her, I was not there, but they told me, she didn't display any pain or discomfort. She didn't take any treatment, she was just accepted it. And then she left her body very peacefully. So that is what happens when one takes to Krishna consciousness. Klesha Ghani, no more suffering. And another way why there is no suffering. Because when you see that Krishna is providing you with everything, then why should you worry? Is Krishna providing us with everything? Just consider, a simple consideration. The child is just born. And immediately there is milk in the mother's breast. How did it happen? This is how Krishna is taking care. Did the child say, Krishna, give us my mouthful of milk? No. Just automatically the milk came. Not only with human beings, with animals, with birds. I mean, of course, the birds don't. So, this is how Krishna is taking care of us. Like, let's look at our past. Did we ever starve? At least I don't remember. Even if I was wanting to fast, I've been forced to eat. That is the situation. So in this way, Krishna is taking care of everyone. Okay, there may be some scarcity in the human society. Did you see any scarcity in the ant society? Bird society? Animal society? There may be hardship, but then in the wilderness, in nature, we never seen any animal starving to death. An elephant, how much food does the elephant need? At least 100 kilo per day. Has it supplied? But then question is, but there is scarcity in the human society. But the point is, the scarcity in the human society has been created by human beings. Krishna has provided for everyone. But somebody took that food that was meant for everyone, he stored it in his well. So when he steals the food for 1,000 people, and if one or two people starve, you can't blame Krishna for that. So this is how Krishna is taking care of us in every respect. Okay, forget about the food. Oxygen, isn't that the most vital aspect of our living? But had there been any scarcity of oxygen, did he ever pray to Krishna, Krishna, give me a lung full of oxygen? No, it is there. Okay, now we are taking oxygen, giving out carbon dioxide. So if the process continued, what would have happened? The whole atmosphere would have been filled with carbon dioxide. Did it ever happen? The trees and plants are taking carbon dioxide, giving us oxygen back. Who made this arrangement? So when the personality, when he is taking care of us in all respects, why should we worry? Why should we worry? And we have to worry because the mess that human beings have created in this world. There will be worries because there will be wars, there will be massive destructions, there will be scarcity. But who is creating that scarcity? Why is there scarcity? Because people are acting against Krishna's will. People are acting against Krishna's arrangement. And that's why, as I was saying, the Mother Nature is tolerating. Then at one point, Mother Nature will give us a whack. And then we'll come back to our senses. Oh my God, what did we do? So this is how nature will teach us at certain point. So we should be prepared for that. So we can't blame Krishna. If it happens, then we have to remember, well, Krishna, someday you gave us so much food that we overate. So today if I have to fast, fine, I'll fast. And then also, another thing, you see, like, let us consider from another scripture, Bible. Moses is taking the Jews from Egypt, right? They ran away from Egypt because they were enslaved in Egypt by the Pharaoh, the king. So Moses is taking them to Jerusalem. Now the passage from Egypt to Jerusalem is full of desert. And how long it must have taken them? At least a few weeks, if not few months. So did they find any food in the desert? Was there any possibility of food in the desert? No. Then how did they survive? Statement in the Old Testament is saying that. God provided them with a food called manna. So God was providing. Even in the middle of the desert, there was food available by the arrangement of the Lord. So why should you worry? Now, should we not believe in that? Or is it fairy tale? No. Again, another scripture. Whatever is mentioned there is truth. It happened. And not only that happened, you know something? Another thing happened. Some people felt, I am sick of eating this manna day after day. I wish I could get some meat. So Moses told them that the Lord will fulfill your desire, but be prepared for the consequence. And next morning, they found there are so many birds. And they caught those birds and maybe roasted them and ate them. And then there was a massive famine, not famine, the disease, what's it called? Epidemic, massive epidemic. And many of them died. So, we find all these narrations in the scriptures. The question is, should you believe in that? Intelligent answer will be yes. Learn your lesson from that. Have full confidence in the Lord. Have full confidence in Krishna that if you surrender unto Him, He will take care of you. Okay, another example. Once some devotees were discussing with Srila Prabhupada about the nuclear warfare. And they were saying that if there is a nuclear war, then everything will be destroyed. There won't be anything left. Not only the human beings will die, but even the trees and plants will be all burnt to ashes. So there won't be anything left. And then Prabhupada said, no. The demigods can clean out the atmosphere in no time. So they were contesting, no Srila Prabhupada, discussion was going on. No Srila Prabhupada, everything will be burnt out and there will be radioactive rays. No one will be able to survive and so forth. But in this way the discussion was going on. The devotees were contesting, in a way trying to justify their points. Prabhupada finally said, you do not know the power of the demigods. They can wipe out the atmosphere, they can clean the atmosphere in no time. Yes, There may be nuclear war, there may be radioactivity that will prevail over hundreds of thousands of miles. But the demigods can clean out the atmosphere in no time. So, so this is how we have to have full confidence that even if there is a disaster, Krishna will be there if we take shelter of him. He will take care. Didn't we get so many examples? Look at Prahlad Maharaj. In so many ways, Hiranyakashipu tried to kill Prahlad. Did he succeed? No. Look at Pandavas sent into exile in forest. Did they have any difficulty? No. So the devotees of Krishna will always be protected and maintained and cared for by Krishna. So that faith we have to have. Eka paso rachoitung jagadanda koti jachaktirasti jagadanda chaya jadanta andantarastha paramanu chayantarastham govindam adipurusham tamaham bhajami. Eka pasi, Eka, although he is one, Krishna is one, but Jagadanda Kotim, Jagadanda, Jagat Anda means Brahmanda, universe. Kotim, millions and millions of universes have been created by him. He is one, but he created innumerable universes. So this is his inconceivable potency. And when you go to that, then you see how he created. Did he get all those ingredients, nuts and bolts and everything, and then he created? No, he simply glanced and the creation became manifest. Again, in Bible we get this another statement like that. God said, let there be light, and there was light. So this is his inconceivable potency. Whatever by his inconceivable potency, innumerable universes have been created, and innumerable universes are floating in the space. So that is his. Even with our common perception, we can see so much cloud. When it comes down, yesterday we had an experience, such torrents of rain, pouring millions of tons of water, and those clouds are floating in the sky. How is it possible? How is it happening? By his inconceivable potency. Of course, Krishna's arrangement has some scientific reasons behind it. Why the clouds are floating in the sky? We know that. The lighter object goes up. So the cloud, the water vapors are lighter in the atmosphere. So it goes up and it forms the cloud. And then when it condenses, then it becomes drops of water, raindrops, and it comes down. But who made that arrangement? Are these all accidental happening? Some fools will say that. And unfortunately in today's world, most of the people have become fools. And they are being fooled by the so-called scientists. Cheaters and the cheated. That's the nature of this age of Kali. The biggest liar has the maximum number of followers. We see that in politics. The person who can lie, who can tell the biggest lie, has the maximum number of followers. They give all kinds of promises to win the vote, and once they win the vote, he is nowhere to be seen. Anyway, right, this is the nature, what to do of this age. And Ekapasau rachayitam jagadanda koting jat shakti rasti jagadanda chaya jadanta. Jagadanda chaya, all the universes within whom he is situated. Andantarastha, while he is situated in every single universe, he is also situated paramanu chayantarastham. He is situated in every single atom. Okay, I'll just read the translation. He is an undifferentiated entity, as there is no distinction between potency and the possessor thereof. In the work of creation of millions of worlds, his potency remains inseparable. All the universes exist in him, and he is present in his fullness in every one of the atoms that are scattered throughout the universe at one and the same time. Such is the primeval Lord whom I adore. Although he is creating all these universes, one consideration is he is fully present with all his opulences. Like, although he is creating innumerable universes, his energy or his potency is not diminished at all. So, we can also go back to Ishopanishad. Ishavashyam idam sarvam jatkincha jagattang jagat tena taktena bhunjita magridha kasya siddhanam. Then the next verse is Om Purnam, and the first one actually, yeah. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate. Om Purnam, he is complete and perfect. Purnamidam, whatever he creates, whatever comes from him is also complete and perfect. And Purnat Purnamudachyate. From the Purna, from the complete and perfect, whatever comes is perfect and complete. And Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Evashva Shishyate. Although complete has given rise to many complete, but he remains the same. So that is his potency. Although he expands into innumerable forms, his expansions are of two types, Swamsa and Bibhinnamsa. Swamsa, his own self, the incarnations. Krishna expands, Balaram. Balaram has the same potency as Krishna. Then expansion, Vasudev, Shankarshan, Pradyumna, Aniruddha. Same, all four have same potency. Now, when Krishna expands as Narayans in Vaikuntha. So, although Krishna is expanding, all the expansions has the same potency as Krishna. And does Krishna's potency diminish? No, he remains the same. So that is his inconceivable potency. Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam eva avashishyate. Purnam eva avashishyate. So here also the same thing has been pointed out. Jat shaktirasti jagadanda chaya jadanta andantarastha paramanu chayantarastham. Although he is expanding himself, but he remains himself in his fullness. Okay. Jad bhava bhavita dhiyo manujas tathaiva samprappa rupa mahima sanajana bhusha suktair jameva nigama prathitaistubanti govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Jad bhava bhavita dhiyo manujas tathaiva. Manuja means Manu's offsprings. Who are Manu's offsprings? Manavas. We all, human beings. Jad bhavo bhavita dhiyo manujas tathaiva samprapya rupa, beauty, asana, position, jhana, vehicles and other means of movement. So all these that we are getting, the position that we get, the facilities that we get, the power that we get to execute things, they all are coming from due to Krishna's mercy. Never ever think, oh, I have so much. Okay, fine, you have so much. Simply due to Krishna's mercy. I have such a big position. I am so big. I am the ruler of the whole country. You have got this position by Krishna's mercy. So that's the intelligent way of thinking. So I adore the same Govinda, the primeval Lord, in whose praise men who are imbued with devotion sing the mantra shuktas told by Vedas by gaining their appropriate beauty, greatness, thrones, conveyance and ornaments. So that means all the facilities that we get, we must recognize that they are due to Krishna's mercy. And what should we do? Sing His glory. Krishna, you are so great. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, you are so great. You are giving me everything. All that I got is simply due to your mercy. So please allow me to sing your glory. The problem with us is that we simply think what we didn't get. We never think how much we got. Life would have been very different if we simply considered how much we got. And remain grateful to Krishna for that. It's because of His mercy that we got everything. You know the definition, the difference between an optimist and pessimist? How many of you know the difference? Very good. How many of you want to hear about the difference? The optimist sees the glass is half full. The pessimist sees that the glass is half empty. Now, should we be an optimist or a pessimist? Should we think how much we didn't get, or should we think how much we got? Like all these years that we have lived, where did we get all the food? Where did we get all the facilities, all the oxygen that I breathe? And so many wonderful things, so many wonderful achievements have been there. So let me be thankful to Krishna for that. Okay, so let's leave it up to this today. I tend to leave a lot of time for question answers because I know these sessions actually inspires everyone to ask a lot of questions. Thank you very much. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Brahma-ji, our great-grandfather. Does anybody have any question? Yes. Give it to him, Pran.
Maharaj, very nicely you have given such a sweet explanation. In the beginning, I maybe missed the conclusion of majestic aspect versus sweetness. I always think that Supreme Absolute Truth, Divinity, is both great and sweet. Awareness of His greatness evoke submission. and awareness of his sweetness evokes affection. And I also thought that without submission, just aware of or attached to sweetness may bring affection without cleaning the heart. It could turn into sahajiyasm or some kind of idea. But the conclusion I didn't hear from you. Or maybe I missed it.
Yeah. No, the thing is that, as I mentioned, that Vaikuntha, all the way up to Dwarka, is a region of opulence, Aishwarya. And Vrindavan is Madhurya, sweetness. So, as you also mentioned, that opulence or greatness makes one surrender. But sweetness invokes love. So, what is greater, surrender or love? Love. So, in love, there may be surrender, there may not be surrender. Sometimes in love, in intense love, there is no surrender. Mother Jashoda is not thinking that I am surrendering to Krishna. Rather, she is saying, you boy, better listen to me. Better come to my control. Otherwise, he is a stick. Right? The cowherd boys tell Krishna, Krishna, who do you think you are? You and I are same. Some say that you are the Supreme Personality of God. So what? Let them say whatever they want to, but you are my friend, we all are equal. Are they surrendering to Krishna? Radharani gets upset with Krishna and tells Lalita and Vishakha, never let him come near me. Never allow him to come near me. I don't want to see the face of that character. Surrender out of love. It's only out of love that one can treat the Supreme Personality of Godhead in this way. If they had that opulence aspect, Aishwarya, then they won't be able to deal with Krishna the same way. Example, Krishna is just born. Naturally, Devaki and Vasudev's hearts are filled with affection for the child. By the moment Krishna showed his Vaikuntha Narayan form, with folded hand they started to offer prayers. That affection is gone. That feeling of affection, he is my child, is gone. Oh, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that is how Aishwarya, opulence or grandeur, is a hindrance to love. Another example, Krishna disappeared from the rasa dance. The gopis are searching for Krishna. Krishna thought, let me see some fun. So he assumed his four-armed Narayan form, stood on the way. The gopis saw Krishna, and the gopis saw Narayan. Oh Narayan, please bless us that we can find Krishna soon. They don't even care for Narayan. Okay, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Fine. But we don't care for you. We want Krishna. But then again, Narayan's attitude, Krishna's attitude, Krishna could assume his Narayan form in front of other gopis, but when Radharani came, his two other arms disappeared and he became Krishna again. Because of, in front of Radharani's love, Krishna couldn't maintain his opulence.
So Maharaj, what I'm hearing, that when sweetness maybe supersede greatness, lover control the beloved, in that case the Siddha, the Brajavasis, but what about me as a sadhaka conditioned soul? Isn't submission has to come before?
Yeah. Like we devotees, we approach Krishna in Dasya Ras. Our business is to approach Krishna in the mood of servitorship. Then what Krishna wants us, in which situation, that's up to him. The servant never demands from the master, oh, make me your friend. Right? Servant just keeps on serving the master. But if the master wants, master can say, well, you know, you have been serving me so nicely and you are so intelligent, you are helping me in so many ways. He treats him like a friend. You're my friend. So, master can promote the servant into friendship. But the servant cannot demand friendship from the master.
Hare Krishna Guru. Guru Maharaj, in that when it says you're inaccessible through the Vedas, so one way we understand that it is only through the Vedic knowledge that Krishna is accessible, because only through the Vedic knowledge that we can get closer to Krishna. When we say he is inaccessible through the
Again,
Vedas, is it?
Knowledge cannot reveal Krishna. Love and devotion does. With knowledge you can never understand Krishna. It is with devotion. Then we are going back to the same point. Jnana karmad anabritam. So Vedeshu durlabham. Traigunna vishaya veda nistraigunna bhavarjuna. Meaning, just develop your love. Forget the knowledge. I mean, of course, that is some development, that will naturally develop. Okay. Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. So Maharaj, it's regarding like soul. Usually we hear that soul is like eternally individual entities. And in one side, another side, like soul is part of Krishna. So is it like once like soul separated from Krishna, or like generated from Krishna? Something?
Well, to understand that point, we have to consider sun and sun's rays. The rays are coming out from the sun, but every single ray is a separate individual entity as a ray. Similarly, living entities are coming out of Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead, but they have their individual entity. And these rays or the jivas can be in two conditions. Either connected to Krishna or separated from Krishna. When the soul becomes separated from Krishna, he is conditioned, and when soul is connected to Krishna, is liberated. All right?
Maharaj, that is it means that soul generates from Krishna? No,
Yeah.
Krishna.
Yeah, their souls are coming from it. Just like the rays of sun is coming from the sun, similarly all the jivas are coming from Krishna. They are Krishna's separated energy, Bibhinnamsa. Their swamsa expansions are his incarnations. That will come after 2-3 verse. It will come that how swamsa is non-different from Krishna. The example is given just like you one lamp lights other lamps. When the lamps are lit, the lamps have the same amount of light and heat, same potency. The first lamp and the other lamps are similar. They have the same, there's no difference, but the first lamp is the lamp that lit the other ones. So these are the swamsa expansions. And Bibhinnamsa expansions, example is given as the sun and the rays of the sun.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Shyam Mukunda.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj, for a wonderful class. Guru Maharaj, the question I have is, the spiritual world is filled with Chintamani and all the Kalpavriksha trees and all the opulences. What makes the soul to leave such a wonderful place and come here? So that's something I'm not able to comprehend. Why? What's the need for someone to leave that and go away from that?
Well, in a way it can be said it's envy. Envy. Why Krishna is the supreme enjoyer? Why can't I be the enjoyer? Why can't I enjoy like Krishna? So Krishna says, fine, enjoy, but not here. So Krishna creates another world, material nature, and here we have the opportunity to become Krishnas. Here everyone is a miniature Krishna. Everyone, even a small little ant, he is thinking, I am the supreme controller.
So which means we didn't know the consequence of having such feelings?
Right, we didn't know the consequences. And in many cases, still now we do not know the consequences. And we are thinking that we can become Krishna. But the point is, the more we try to become Krishna, the more Maya beats us up in order to correct us. Don't try to become Krishna, become servant of Krishna. And when you become servant of Krishna, then you become situated properly. And then we go back to the spiritual world.
Thank you.
And then there is one point actually. The question came once to Prabhupada. Prabhupada, what is the possibility of someone who has gone back to the spiritual world come back again? Prabhupada said, once bitten, twice shy. Once you have seen what this world is like and gone there, who would want to come back here? But devotees may come back if Krishna says, go and preach. He'll say, okay, fine, Krishna, if you want, I'll do that. Thank you, Hare Krishna. Any other question? Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. So Maharaj, we understand that all living beings, Krishna is living as a super soul within them, but here it's mentioned that he is still present in all atoms also. So
yeah, without Krishna's presence, nothing can exist.
Nothing. So is everything, is he behind, is the cause of all causes?
Yeah.
That way we can understand that even in inert matter,
Right.
that Krishna is behind
Right.
that. Okay.
But these atoms don't have the consciousness to function.
Yeah, right. Thank you.
Who has a next question? Okay.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. You mentioned that you were reading books which were not based on our scriptures and your aunt was not happy about it. So in that connection, I want to explain what I went through with one of my children.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Yes. So he picked up a Star Wars book from his library at school. So before I give anything to the children, I try to read it first. And when I read it, I was very agitated. It didn't leave a good impression on my mind. So after that, I searched and I ordered books on Ramayana and Mahabharata.
Which one did you got? Which one did you get first?
Star Wars. Star Wars.
Oh, Star Wars. Yeah, okay.
Yes. After that, we read those books, Guru Maharaj. It's going okay now, and the teachers are teachers approve of them. But as they grow older, should we encourage them to read books on general knowledge and current affairs?
Yeah.
News.
Sure.
Should we do that?
Sure. Yeah. When you learn to discriminate, general knowledge and all, that's informative books, right? They are not novels or things like, Romeo and Juliet, like. So these are most of the stories are like that, either Romeo and Juliet or Laila Majnu.
That's okay.
Or Heer Ranja. Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, very nice class. I just have one question. Why Krishna is in threefold bending form? What is the importance of that? I didn't get it.
I don't know. Yes, Vrinda Vilasini.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. My questions from your morning session. I was just wondering, Krishna is saying in Bhagavad Gita, of syllables, I'm the Om, and yet we associate Om word more to Lord Shiva, as opposed to Krishna.
No, that's a misconception. Om is the primeval word, right? Is the Bij of the Gayatri. Bij of all mantras. All mantras actually evolved from Om. It can be identified with Shiva mantra also. There is no harm. But to think that Om is only about Lord Shiva is not the right understanding. Okay?
Thank you, Maharaj.
Hare Krishna Guru Maharaj. Thank you for bringing such a wonderful insights to this verses. In the starting of the class, you mentioned that these purports are not by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur.
Translation also was not by him.
Then by whom? Do we have any idea?
I don't know, but he had quite a few very learned disciples. One was Professor Sannal. He was a English professor. Then Ananta Vasudev didn't translate. Most likely it was done by Professor Sanyal.
But in the preface of this book, it is also mentioned that it is by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta.
That was a mistake.
Okay. Thank you.
The preface was not written by. It was written by one of our devotees.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you for that point on the Vedic literatures are like the truth, and that hit me actually, because whenever we read something, we take it as truth. So to Mataji's point, kids today go to the college, they are given these novels to read and write a thesis or whatever, explain in front of the class. How would we deal with that with the kids?
Yeah, it's actually dangerous exposure. They will think, well, Superman can do what Krishna is doing, isn't it? Or what to speak of Superman, even an ant-man can do what Krishna is doing. So what's so great about Krishna? Right? But in reality, did anyone see any Superman is doing all those things? Long time back, I did actually see the Superman movie. And he's stopping a train. Did you ever see any man doing that? But this is how their brains are being spoiled, with all kinds of garbage being injected in there. As a result of that, they will fail to recognize the importance of Krishna's greatness. Oh, Superman, like they can imagine anything and present it. Right? And especially when it is presented audio-visually, it is very, very damaging.
And top of that, you have so much merchandise around it, so people are like, kids are totally believing in that.
Yeah.
So is there a good way to give...
Not only kids, even the grown-ups are believing in it.
So is it a good way to give them more of Bhagavatam and then give positive than not the negative?
Yeah, right, yeah. As much as possible, keep them away from all this garbage. And the best thing is make them understand this is not true. There is imaginary things. Like they are showing all kinds of things, Like one person is fighting with 100 people and killing them all. Right? But if you notice carefully, then the question will come, when this person is killing one and other persons are standing there, inactive, like if they're really there, they would come and from behind and chop your head off. Chop Superman's head off. Sattang parang dhimahi. Our business is to meditate on the absolute truth. Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for the class. I have a quick question about
Take it close to you.
Lakshmi Sahasrasata Sambrama Sevamanam. Is Brahmaji explaining it's Lakshmi's because he's in the mood of reverence?
No, he is actually saying that all these gopis that are sporting with Krishna, they are all Lakshmis. And in reality, Lakshmi is expansions of these gopis. Gopis are not expansions of Lakshmi. Lakshmis are expansion of the gopis.
I was thinking why he didn't say Gopi Sahasra Sata. Like, why not Gopi? Because he's looking at them as Lakshmi Devi.
We have to ask Brahma. Well, that's how he is seeing that these gopis are not ordinary damsels. There's a possibility that one may think, oh, these are just ordinary village girls. No, Brahma is pointing out, these are all Lakshmi Devis. All Lakshmi, they are the origin of Lakshmis. Lakshmis are actually playing this role. Yes?
Yeah, thank you Maharaj for the nice class. Even I had the same question about that Lakshmi. So Maharaj, my question is, in the morning class, you mentioned that Lord Shiva is the creator, but we know that the Brahma is the creator and Lord Shiva is the destroyer. So
no, I never said Lord Shiva is the creator. I said that the living entities came through the agency of Lord Shiva. You get it? Jivas came through Lord Shiva into the material nature. We all came through Lord Shiva. You get it? We didn't come directly from Krishna in that way. We came through the agency of Lord Shiva.
Lord Shiva is a partial creator of...
Creator in the sense is, you see, just as we are not the creator, the creator who created the universe, Vishnu, right? Then the secondary creation is done by Brahma. Like the living entities have come to the material nature. Brahma's business is to give them the bodies, different bodies. First he was giving the bodies through his mind. You see, through his mind he could give living entities their bodies. But then gradually he started the procreation system through other Prajapatis. They're the Prajapatis. They actually started to create. And then in this way, the creation became more and more gross. Initial creation was very subtle, from his mind, from his different limbs, from his shadow, and so forth.
Thank you, Maharaj. One question. You mentioned that Lord Brahma, was he transported to the Goloka, or he mentally was seeing the...
What did I tell? What was my saying? Didn't I say that he was transported to the spiritual world? Transported. He is not imagining. That perception of Brahma is non-different from being there himself. Right? So Brahma is transported there. And the spiritual perfection means that. Being transported to the spiritual world.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Okay, thank you. So I will end the class now. It's 7 o'clock. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Gaur Premanande Hari Hari.